Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is now finally in cinemas, and fans get to see Benedict Cumberbatch in action as Doctor Strange once again. And so that got us thinking, what are Benedict Cumberbatch's best performances? So we've put together the top 10 performances of his career for you all to enjoy. So sit back and relax as we share with you our favourite Benedict Cumberbatch performances from his movies and TV shows. And kicking this off at number 10 is Atonement. In Atonement, Cumberbatch plays one of the most despicable characters of his career as Officer Paul Marshall. Despite only appearing a number of times in the movie, Marshall has a huge impact on the plot of the movie, and arguably is the reason why James McAvoy's Robbie Turner has his life completely turned upside down. Robbie is falsely accused of sexually assaulting 2 women in one night, and the man who actually did commit the assault is Marshall, who, you guessed it, gets off scot-free, whilst Robbie is forced to join the army as punishment for his crimes. Cumberbatch's performance in Atonement is very understated and surprisingly sinister, and every time you watch it, you can't believe that it's actually Benedict Cumberbatch who plays such a villain. It is a much smaller role than we're used to seeing from him, but it's definitely worth a mention on our list. Up next is Benedict Cumberbatch's portrayal of Billy Bulger in the 2015 crime drama Black Mass. Starring Johnny Depp as the infamous Boston gang boss Whitey Bulger, Cumberbatch plays his brother, the equally as infamous politician Billy Bulger. Despite 2 excellent performances by Depp and Cumberbatch, Black Mass is something of a slog to get through, with the real highlights of the movie coming when Whitey and Billy share the screen together. Despite taking just under $100 million at the box office and garnering plenty of accolades from critics, I think it's fair to say that Depp and Cumberbatch's performances elevate a fairly bland movie, which is quite shocking considering its source material, and it's definitely one of the best performances of his career. When you think of the suave, sophisticated and dashing Benedict Cumberbatch, you immediately think of a giant fire-breathing dragon, right? Well, even if you don't, Peter Jackson somehow did, and we're thankful that he did, because Benedict Cumberbatch gave us one of his most terrifying performances as Smaug. Cumberbatch channeled his inner Andy Serkis for the role of Smaug in 2013's The Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug, donning a mocap suit to capture his creepy dragon-like movement and created a truly chilling voice that still makes us uneasy. And here's a fun fact for you. In order to completely nail the movement of Smaug the Dragon, Cumberbatch spent time at the London Zoo and studied the movement of lizards to help him get into the role. And his subtle, sneaky serpentine movement, coupled with that booming voice, is what makes his performance as Smaug so exciting to watch. Turns out that Peter Jackson fella knows a thing or two about bringing modern-day monsters to life after all. This one might come as a bit of a shock to some of our viewers outside the UK, but in 2019, Benedict Cumberbatch took on the role of the then fairly unknown Dominic Cummings, the man who almost single-handedly influenced the UK's Brexit referendum in the TV series Brexit: The UNCIVIL War. Since the referendum, Cummings has gone on to become something of a household name in the UK, but believe it or not, there was a time when no one really knew who this man was, and so in the wake of his sudden rise in UK politics, going back and seeing Cumberbatch absolutely nail his accent and mannerisms is something of an interesting experience to say the least. As you can see, Benedict Cumberbatch doesn't really look anything like Dominic Cummings, and in order to get the thinning hair and half-bald appearance, Cumberbatch actually shaved the middle of his hair off before donning a wig to make his appearance as believable as possible. Yes, it is a bit of a rogue choice, this one, but anyone who's seen Brexit: The UNCIVIL War will know that his performance is the best part of the series, and that's why we've included this somewhat hidden gem in our list. Up next is Benedict Cumberbatch's creepy performance of a classic Star Trek villain, Khan, in Star Trek Into Darkness. Following on from the huge success of J.J. Abrams' reboot of the Star Trek franchise, Star Trek Into Darkness once again introduced the infamous villain with Cumberbatch in the role. Cumberbatch won praise from critics for his still and eerie portrayal of the character, even being compared to the likes of Sir Ian McKellen and Alan Rickman for his impressive vocal performance and calm, villainous demeanour. And his whole performance is one of the film's highlights. Star Trek Into Darkness went on to become the highest grossing instalment of the franchise, taking over a whopping $467 million at the box office and cemented Cumberbatch at the time as one of Hollywood's most interesting and most in-demand leading men. Who knew that when Benedict Cumberbatch signed on to join the Avengers as Doctor Strange, he'd be front and centre of the madness of the MCU? And this very much came to life in 2021's record-breaking box office smash hit Spider-Man No Way Home, after Doctor Strange opened up the multiverse to help Peter Parker. Now, despite the film focusing on Peter and MJ and the chaos that ensued once the multiverse was opened, Cumberbatch's limited appearances as Strange in this movie are extremely enjoyable and surprisingly heartfelt, and it left everything perfectly placed for the MCU to tackle the dangers of the multiverse again in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. If anything, this movie showed us all how perfect the casting of Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange was, as he elevated every scene he was in and brought a real sense of calm and maturity to the movie. Up next is our second instalment of Doctor Strange on our list in Avengers Infinity War. The character arc of Strange in Infinity War is really interesting because of the relationship between him and Tony Stark. At the start of the movie, Strange and Stark don't really like each other, with Stark himself stating that he can't trust what he doesn't understand. But by the end of the Avengers franchise, Strange and Stark put their differences aside to help defeat Thanos. Strange's involvement in Infinity War really helped evolve the character to become a mainstay in the MCU, and it's for that reason that we've included it in our list. The Power of the Dog is a chilling drama that easily gives us one of Benedict Cumberbatch's best ever performances. Cumberbatch plays the domineering rancher Phil Burbank, who thrives on intimidating others and playing cruel mind games as he wrestles with his own sexuality and inner demons. This is a powerhouse of a performance from Cumberbatch, with his menacing presence felt throughout the movie as he belittles and bullies everyone around him, making his portrayal of Burbank easily his most unlikable character of his career. Cumberbatch was rightly nominated for an Academy Award for his take on Phil Burbank, as he delivers a performance that's genuinely difficult to watch. And here's another fun fact for you. In order to get into character for the role, Cumberbatch didn't wash for a number of days, and Kirsten Dunst actually refused to speak to him whilst they were on set together. But hey, whatever they did to get into character clearly worked, and the evidence was there for all to see, resulting in yet another astonishing performance from the man himself and an absolute humdinger of a film. Up next, and coming in at second place, is the role that garnered Cumberbatch's first ever Academy Award nomination for his performance as Alan Turing in The Imitation Game. The Imitation Game tells the story of British inventor Turing, the man who masterminded the elusive Enigma code which deciphered German messages and orders, helping Britain and the Allies win the Second World War. The film became a commercial and critical success, taking over $230 million at the box office against a budget of only $40 million, and the film itself received a plethora of award nominations, including 8 Academy Awards. Cumberbatch's performance as Turing is truly one of the best of his career, and he rightly received critical acclaim and a number of award nominations for his portrayal of one of modern history's most interesting characters. And that's why we've placed it at second on our list. You'd be forgiven for thinking of Sherlock Holmes whenever you think of Benedict Cumberbatch. Such is the popularity of the show and the popularity of his performance. Playing the role on the BBC's smash hit series Sherlock for 7 years, Cumberbatch became a household name and one of the most in-demand actors of his generation, thanks to his excellent portrayal of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's beloved detective. Playing opposite Martin Freeman as his own Dr. Watson, Sherlock brought the classic tales to life in this modern-day remake, and the chemistry between Cumberbatch and Freeman is a huge part of the reason why Sherlock was so successful. Cumberbatch's Sherlock is a quick-thinking, quick-talking genius, and Freeman's deadpan portrayal of Watson was a match made in heaven, and fans are desperate to see the two of them reunite in more projects in the future. And who can blame them? Sherlock has gone on to become one of the biggest BBC shows of the last decade, and we think Benedict Cumberbatch's iconic performance as Sherlock Holmes is the best performance of his career. So that's our list of the top 10 Benedict Cumberbatch performances, but we want to know what you Cumberbitches think of our list. So let us know your favourite performances in the comments below. This is Emily from It's Gone Viral signing off, and thanks for watching.